Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are discussing the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, the breath of victory. And in this recording, it is basically a rendering of a blog post that I wrote October 2022 called Practice the Breath of Victory. And what I intend to do here is just lead you through a practice once again, because we've done this before, of Samaveta Pranayama. So to begin, what I'd like you to do is get really comfortable. Find a place that's quiet, someplace warm, or wrap a blanket around yourself. You can lie down if you'd like, or sit up in a chair, or in a meditative pose, possibly on a cushion. So the yogis say that in the gap between exhalation and inhalation, the place of no breath, you will find the secret of life. At face value, that assertion might seem absurd. Why look to a place of no breath to find the secret of life, right? No breath equals death normally. But it's a paradox. If you want to know life, you will be able to find it in the place of breathlessness. In that gap, there is no thing. It is said that there you will find the energetic, creative source of life. You can begin to know life by distinguishing the pause between the exhalation and the inhalation. So that gap between breaths is your access point to the extraordinary and miraculous in your yoga practice, or your meditation practice, or your pranayama practice. In the receiving pose, after you inhale, you take a conscious pause. And by receiving pose, what I'm talking about is when you are practicing yoga, and let's say you come to downward dog, and you're there, and you're breathing, you are receiving the benefits of that asana in that moment of stillness, in that moment of breath awareness. So in the receiving pose, after you take a full inhale, inviting life into your body, inviting strength into your body, you take a conscious pause. And you maybe play with holding the pause a little longer than usual, and allow yourself to feel the still space and vital energy. So that's how you practice this conscious Samaveta Pranayama in your yoga practice. And you continue that practice when you exhale. So when you take your full inhale, fully inviting this life into your body, and you hold it for a count or 2 or 3, then you slowly exhale, and you hold the breath right at the end, a little bit longer than usual, so you can experience this gap a little more deeply. So you play with creating more time and spaciousness in your pattern of breaths in the pose. So this Samaveta Pranayama is one practice that you can use to alter your view and your emotional state. It's a way to play with stopping your breath for a brief moment to allow the benefits of the asana to really incorporate into your body, or even your pranayama practice or your meditation. So in yoga, anytime you're in a pose, or even honestly when you're just taking a walk and you've realized you've sort of drifted off into your thoughts, take a moment to just stop the unconscious flow of breath, right? And you'll notice that in that pause, you suddenly become awake and aware. The thoughts that were just unending before and just wandering aimlessly, they cease immediately. So this is a good practice, even if you're not doing the full pranayama practice of inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding, but just going throughout your day. It's a good practice because it demonstrates how breath and thoughts are correlated. So when you rest in the pause of breath, thoughts disappear. You get present, a new possibility enters. Thoughts and breath are part of the physical world. No thoughts and no breath are part of the world of being, from which creation is generated. So there is great learning on the mat that comes from playing with the length of each breath and the gaps between breaths. But there is an even greater power that comes from simply watching the whole process of breath as it comes in and out of your body. So in a moment, we're going to practice a little bit of this breath play. And what I'd like you to do is just watch. Don't miss a single point as the breath comes in. You stay with it, and you'll notice there's an automatic gap after the breath has entered. Be with that gap. Yeah? Don't do anything. Simply be a witness. As the breath begins to leave your body, continue watching. And when it is completely out of your body and the breath stops, watch. Allow the breath to continue coming in, going out, coming in, going out, as you simply watch. And in those brief gaps, you'll immediately notice the thoughts disappear. When I say they disappear, I mean that your identification with them is broken. And in that opening, you can now point to them as being separate from you. You have them rather than them having you. You will consistently start to experience breath running parallel to thoughts coming and going in the mind. They are twin forces, as connected and opposing as two sides of the same coin. The process of watching the breath is in the pose is where meditation and physical movement intermingle and meet up in real time in your asana practice. So I'd like you again just to sit up nice and tall. And roll your shoulders back. Release any tension in your jaw. Maybe tuck your chin down just a little and pull it back so that the back of your neck is nice and straight. If you need to lean up against the wall, you can do that as well, by the way. And just let your breath be a natural breath. We're not forcing inhales or exhales. And close your eyes. And allow your senses to run wild for a moment. Become aware of the sounds in the distance. And become aware of the sounds now in the room around you. And observe your sense of feeling and touch. You're not moving, but yet you can feel that space between yourself and the floor. You can feel the feeling, that space between your fingers and maybe your lap. Your breath is still natural, but you can feel the rise and fall of your lungs, the diaphragm moving, the feeling and sensation of the air on your skin or your clothing on your skin. Your body is alive and vibrant. And you can feel the air now coming in and out of your nostrils. Observing here whether it's warm or cold, shallow or deep, and totally wholly without judgment. And imagine for a moment that as you inhale, you are inviting life, prana, energy, strength into the cells of your being. Did you inhale more deeply? If you did, then there's a clue, an obvious kind of connection there between your thoughts and your breath. For each inhale, you imagine that you are inviting this strength into your body, this life force into your body. It almost just wants to come, right? It's like, yes, please allow me to come. And then your lungs just open to that invitation. And as you exhale, imagine that you are expressing this feeling of gratitude for this life, for this moment that you're spending with yourself, for this breath in your body. And if you'd like to take the practice a bit further, you can express gratitude for the room around you, the clothes upon your back, maybe the yoga mat you're sitting upon. And then we begin to just deepen the breath a little bit. Again, inviting that life into your body. You're not forcing it, you're just being open to it. So your inhale will become a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. And your exhales will become a little bit longer and a little bit fuller. And as you continue this full breath, you notice that the belly presses out on the inhale. It fills up like the Buddha. And as you exhale, you'll notice that the diaphragm kind of drops here, your ribs drop, your belly pulls in towards your spine. Like the flow of the ocean, the rise and fall of the tides. And on the note of the ocean, we begin an Ujjayi Pranayama, which sounds a bit like the sound of the ocean when you hold an ocean shell, a seashell, to your ear. Some people think Ujjayi Pranayama, I think it, also sounds a little bit like Darth Vader from Star Wars. So if you have a sense of humor, you can go ahead and just make that sound now. And you might feel this tingling sensation in your body as you continue that practice. Like the cells of your body are becoming energized, full of fresh oxygenated prana. So you're gently constricting the back of your throat. The tongue is maybe gently pressing the roof of your mouth or behind the teeth. And on the next inhale, at the very top, we're holding for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Release out and hold for 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale and hold for 3. Exhale and hold for 3. Inhale and hold for 3. Exhale and hold for 3. Continuing the practice, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And now breathe normally. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. And we release this practice. The beauty of working with the breath is that it creates remarkable openings, right? Especially for those of us that are body-oriented or mind-oriented. When you breathe like this, when you practice breath awareness, when you occasionally hold the breath, this is where the body and the mind get aligned. And this is where you get to experience this being whole and complete. If you're able to do this practice, Samaveta Pranayama, every day for just a minute or 2 or 3 or 10, I'm jealous. And also, I think you will just find that there are some remarkable benefits to Samaveta Pranayama. So many in the body, in the mind, in the soul, in the spirits. And another little thing I'd like to share with you is that if you find yourself having issues sleeping at night, practice Samaveta Pranayama. Practice starting with the yogic breath, inhaling into the abdomen and the chest and exhaling from the top down. And then begin holding the breath for a short time on the inhale, on the top of it, and at the bottom of the exhale. And over time, slowly increase the time of breath retention from a second or so to a maximum of 10 seconds. You don't want to hold the breath for longer than is comfortable. You don't want to hold the breath if you find that your shoulders are getting tense. This is really important, right? The time of breath retention will increase automatically with practice. If you attempt a higher count, then you're ready. You'll find like there's this tension in the body and in the mind. Your ego is present. So practice ahimsa, non-violence to yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally. And you'll find again that the benefits of this practice is that it causes relaxation. Your lungs become stronger. Carbon dioxide is discharged by the blood. You'll be able to find that you're feeling calmer. Your overall health will improve. So if you have questions about this practice, please let me know. Anyone can practice this practice. Children can practice this practice. And I hope this was helpful. If you'd like a longer practice of Samaveta Pranayama, if you'd like me to show you how to incorporate it into your yoga asanas, your practices, please just reach out. I'm happy to help you virtually or in person. And I hope you have now a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.